Plastic recycling is seen as one of the effective strategies to combat plastic pollution both in Africa and globally. Several companies have invested in this sector due to its potential to address environmental issues while simultaneously creating job opportunities for many individuals. People often assume that when plastics are taken from waste bins, they are simply transported to dumping sites and that's the end of it. However, this is not the case.
Ghana generates over 1 million tons annually, and it means that it's overwhelming. So then we will have to find better means to addressing it, and that is where recycling comes in. So I mentioned that there are a lot of things around us that are made of plastics, but people don't actually know of it. For instance, the PET, the PET bottle, the ones that we drink our water from, our malt from, our Sprite from, and the likes. These PET have high quality fiber. This fiber is used for making a lot of clothing. It's used for in the production of yarn, for making even the fiber in the hair that the ladies wear, the reflective jackets, football jerseys, to mention a few.
Plastic pollution is a serious concern for nearly every country worldwide. In Ghana, the issue is particularly alarming as major cities are severely affected. Abdulrahim Shaibu Issa, Executive Director of Recycle Up Ghana, notes that despite the growth in the recycling sector, significant capital is required for investment.
I can tell you for a fact and with authority that a huge chunk of those who recycle plastics, especially mixed waste, those who recycle mixed waste, a huge chunk of their cost goes into sorting it out. So that makes it very capital intensive, and only a few people can play in that space. But if we are able to sort out our plastics, and there are clean plastics, they have high value, right? Then also it becomes profitable ventures for other people to also engage in. When people engage in this, we are killing two birds with one stone. We are eradicating our plastic waste challenge, and then also we are creating some jobs as well.
Successful governments have relied on public-private partnerships to improve waste collection and transportation, but these efforts have not been enough to tackle the challenge. To comprehensively reduce the widespread circulation of plastic waste in the Ashanti region, the Kumasi Compost and Recycling Plant was commissioned in October 2020 by then President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo alongside the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei II and other government officials.
This intervention underlines our commitment to a clean environment. Recovery of various fractions such as plastics, paper and metal will be made available for the manufacturing sector for reuse.
gov't, the largest facility of its kind in Africa, was inaugurated to process municipal and solid waste in Kumasi and its surrounding areas. It occupies 180 acres of land in Eseresu Adeja and has the capacity to process 2,400 tons of waste daily, including compost, plastics, metals, and paper products. During a tour of the facility led by its Business Development and Communications Manager, Eugene Amu Asamoah, he explained how plastic waste is received and separated from other materials.
On a daily basis, we receive waste from several trucks from the waste collectors, and when they come, our first point of call is the weighing bridge, where waste is weighed to ascertain the actual tonnages that are coming in. After that is done, the waste trucks are brought to the receiving bay, where all the waste in their raw form are kept here. So you can see some of the motorized tricycles pouring down their waste in a mixed form.
In Ghana, waste is usually delivered in mixed forms, which presents a significant challenge for many local recycling companies. However, KCAP has implemented modern equipment and technologies that effectively segregate and process plastic waste.
And when they come, after we've actually ascertained the tonnages at the weighing bridge, they are brought to the receiving bay for the process to begin. And then when we have a material recovery facility at KCAP, that's the biggest compost and recycling plant in Africa, when this mixed waste is pushed through all the material recovery facilities, as I mentioned to you earlier on, the waste fractions are separated. Well, over here we have a ballistic separator that actually handles the plastics, and then they separate the plastics into the two-dimensional form and also the three-dimensional form.
That's not all.
And after the material recovery facility, the MRF, has finished with the segregation of the waste into various fractions, all the PET bottles are either baled with this giant baler, or they are either sent to the multipurpose crusher for flaking to be done on them. So over here you can see the baler baling these PET bottles, and when they are baled, they are sent to other companies that use the PET as a raw material for the production of the fiber in the hair of all that the ladies use. The ladies use our reflective jackets, some additives in paints, and all clothing, football jerseys, and the likes.
Apart from larger companies like KCAP, the gov't plastic and recycling plant located in Asukwa focuses solely on recycling plastic waste. Kwesi Benoit Amenyona, owner of the company, cites high electricity costs as one of the major challenges facing his operations.
The light bill also is our big problem. So the moment at the end of the month, all your profit you use for the electricity bill.
How much do you pay?
Electricity bill here a week. Sometimes we pay more than 2,000. 2,000. Last time 2 weeks we paid 5,500.
So many in a month we can pay how much?
A month we pay more than 10,000.
Ghana generates over 1 million tons of plastic waste annually, yet only 2 to 5% is collected and recycled. The Parliamentary Select Committee on Sanitation and Water Resources in Ghana believes that the percentage of recycled plastic waste could rise from the current 5% to about 30 to 40% if more facilities like KCAP are established across the country.
My committee,
Kofi Ahinkramafo, is the ranking member on the committee.
Yeah, my committee will have to work so hard in order to bring the 5% up to maybe about 15 or 20%, because from the way we are, the inspection we did, and from the way things are going, if we should get these plants, dotted around the regions, it is possible that we can move from 5% to maybe about 30 to 40%. So what we can do is to encourage private, partnership in terms of plastic waste management and recycling.
Abdulrahim Shaibu Issa, Executive Director of Recycle Up Ghana, states the need for government support to companies in the recycling sector to effectively address this pressing issue.
I don't really believe in governments directly engaging in whatever solution that we propose. So for example, I don't believe that government should set up recycling factories. However, governments can make systems and produce conducive environment to encourage recycling companies or waste management companies. I can tell you on authority that, for example, we're setting up a facility to recycle plastics, right? And it's not been easy, right? It's not been easy, I would say. It's heavily capital intensive. And I'm not talking about the $100,000, $200,000. We are looking at in excess of over $500,000 to set up a complete recycling system. And that is some form of financing that is very difficult to access, right? So governments working with bilateral partners and multilaterals would be able to facilitate some of these financing opportunities as well.
Ashanti Regional Minister Dr. Frank Amokohene states that efforts are underway to partner with private organizations to enhance plastic waste recycling in the region.
The investment and the attention now is shifting towards recycling, so that we'll be able to crush them
and be able to sell them, and even institute buyback centers, so that if you are gathering your plastics or metals or wood, if you are able to segregate them, there will be avenues where people will come, buy them, and be able to also make sure that we pass through that value chain to be able to recycle same. So that is a huge conversation. We received some proposals where we are treated to partner with companies as in the form of PPP. So we are still discussing that, and I'm sure that if we're able to, as it were, get this recycling project done, we should be able to have a firm control over these plastic goods, among others.
The Kumasi Compost and Recycling Plant and others are working diligently to mitigate the effects of plastic waste in both the Ashanti region and the nation as a whole. However, additional support is necessary, including improved plastic waste collection, subsidies for electricity bills, and other incentives to alleviate challenges in the region. Without these measures, the Ashanti region may continue to struggle with plastic waste related issues for a longer period. For Orange FM, I'm Fatao Bayaga, Kumasi.